So, England is trying to execute me for doing what needed to be done. Parliament has been given the issues of money and giving me it for the wars for 4.5 years, and I am just about tired of it. So I took action anyway, even though they made me sign some terrible document saying that I couldn't do that, but I did it anyway. And I did what I did, because I am king, and I am God.
Wait, what?
I am Balin de Montesquieu, and I believe in the separation of powers. I only believe this because if one ruler, like the absolute monarch, is given all the power, then the country will be destroyed and have no liberty. And I believe that separation of powers is the best way of dividing the power and equal rights between all houses, parliament, judges, and the monarch.
So Charles I denied his citizens religious rights, and he took away their freedom and ignored the Petition of Rights, and he used money for the country for his own personal gain.
I'm William Loud, and I'm basically the king's right-hand man, and Charles I is innocent because he is the state and he cannot commit treason on himself, and the interactions with Parliament were the way they were because Parliament was inefficient and they could not provide the money necessary in time to rule efficiently and to win a war. So he had to take his own actions, at which point I advised him to levy taxes on the people to protect England.
Alright. Thomas Hobbes, and I wrote the book Leviathan, which said that people are naturally born wicked, and that they need an absolute ruler with controls of all aspects of government to protect them from themselves.
Okay, I'm lawyer number 1 for the defense side, and I believe that Charles I is not guilty of committing treason. Here are some points, or 3 main points, of why he hasn't committed treason. First of all, Parliament committed treason, not Charles I, since Charles I is the state, and therefore he cannot commit treason against himself. The second point is that it's Parliament's fault that Charles I had to tax his people, since they wouldn't give him money. The third point is absolute leaders are needed to control the naturally evil and wicked people, according to the philosopher Thomas Hobbes, so therefore Charles I is needed as a really powerful absolute leader.
Can you introduce yourself to the court?
Yes, I am Charles I, absolute monarch of England.
What are your views on divine right?
I strongly believe, as do all absolute monarchs, that we are appointed and selected by God to rule, and we are God's representatives on earth.
Why do you think Parliament's putting you on trial?
Parliament's putting me on trial for the same reasons that they're put William Loud on trial, and that they feel that they want the power, they want to enforce their own Puritan views.
My name is Shannon Leger, and in the summation and conclusion of the trial we have just witnessed, I will prove that King Charles I is guilty of treason once and for all. Montesquieu, a firm believer in absolute power, in no absolute power, and division of power into branches for checks and balances, showed that an absolute monarch cannot have a perfect government if only one person holds all power. Jean-Jacques Rousseau adds that all power in one person would even further the corruption of the people created by civilization. Hobbes believes that people are naturally wicked and will destroy themselves, but Rousseau defends that people are corrupted by the civilization, and an absolute leader, like Charles I, Louis XIV, Oliver Cromwell, or James I, simply put themselves in places of power by being the most corrupt of us all. Charles I waged war on his people on over a dozen recorded accounts, imprisoned his people without due cause, and seized property in war. This is not defending rights. Parliament wrote the Petition of Rights, a document intended to protect the people they helped govern. Charles I signed and agreed to the Petition of Rights, and then ignored his signature. Charles I admitted that he takes full responsibility for ignoring the Petition of Rights. He also takes full responsibility for the murders and deaths of his people, and fully admits that he went against God's wishes when he killed his people. King Charles I,